Hey, this is Will Putney at Graphic Nature Audio, and today we're going to check out the new ControlHub Tracer update. I'm going to go through a track in my mix, and I'm going to trace one of my favorite pieces of gear and recreate the signal chain in the plugin and see how it sounds. Okay, so I'm in the night versus mix session right now, and I just got the beta for this plugin so I can check out the tracer functions in the new update. And there's a really cool room compressor that I'm using on this mix. The room sound for the drums is like a pretty important part of this one. A lot of organic drums and there's a lot of real room. And I wanted like one good solid bus compressor that makes up like a big chunk of the sound for this record. So I landed on the Chandler Zener limiter that I have, which I love for drums. And there's really nothing in the plugin world that I've found that's like been able to recreate that as nicely. So I thought it would be cool to try to emulate that and get that into the new ControlHub update. So we can kind of go through this here. Here's my drum mix that I have going currently. Here's my room bus. And if I mute this, you can see how much the room sound's actually a big part of this record. And a lot of the sauce on that room bus is coming from hitting that Zener limiter really hard. It's an interesting compressor. It has like two stages and it's got some color to it too. So when I looked at the tracer, I noticed there was a way to, emulate a signal chain or a compressor. I'm going to do the complete signal chain one for this because I want to try to get whatever color or character I'm getting out of that box too, instead of just the more basic compressor functions. So I won't bore you with the whole drag of printing the tracer, but I can walk you through how to do it. You basically load a signal chain here. You locate the file. Here's your tracer tone. This gets dropped onto a track, which I've put up here. And what I did was I just ran this out my room bus through my gear and recorded it back in as another file. When that's done, you go back into here and you import that tracer. I had it as Zener limiter tracer. It does its weird math science thing and it spits out what is a pretty damn good emulation of that compressor. So I can go through them now and I can kind of show you A to Bing them. I'll just solo the room. Right now we're listening to the room mics that are going through my Zener limiter. And here we have the trace that I've already saved as a preset. So what I'll do is I'll just go through and I'll bypass the plugin and turn the compressor on and back and forth, and we can hear how similar they actually are to each other. So here's the limiter on, here's the plugin on. Limiter on, plugin on. I think I might be hitting this a little harder. I actually might like this more, which is insane. And then in the track, maybe turn that up a bit so we can hear it. Pretty interesting. You can see it kind of maintains the characteristic. This might be a little beefier. I think I could probably get it really precise if I played with some of the filters, but for a relatively complex piece of analog gear in 3 minutes of running a tone to kind of get this as a starting point is pretty insane. Yeah, and then what I'll do is I'll save this in my tracer presets. Right click, hit save. And now this cool little new feature, I can click on this and I can upload this to the Trace Exchange, which is this free forum, I guess we'll call it, where people can just upload all the traces they make with their analog gear. So there's my Zener limiter, Comp 2 setting on it, and the little bit of EQ that it ran through on the way out of the computer is also printed on there. It's probably part of the color. And that's it. It was that easy. This whole process took 5 minutes, and now I have a $5,000 compressor that I can pull up whenever I want as this preset. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed by this thing, and thanks to STL for creating a really cool piece of software that I'm for sure gonna use all the time.